Thank you for coming. This is a question from the Snowman, who doesn't speak English, but has written the question down for me to read, if you don't mind. One of the international community's biggest priorities is crafting a new treaty to combat global warming similar to Kyoto, a process that the U.S. has essentially ignored. How would you address this challenge, and what role would the U.S. play in working to solve the global challenge?
What America needs to do, this is a huge crisis facing us in the world. Every time we get more scientific information, it indicates the problem is worse, not better. I saw a piece the other day that indicated that the polar ice cap could be gone in 23 years if we don't alter our behavior. And I'm like a lot of people, I'm not a scientist, but I know that that polar ice cap's white and it reflects the heat and rays of the sun. And when it's gone, that dark ocean's going to absorb that heat, and it's going to accelerate the warming process. So here's what I think. We're the worst polluter on the planet, period. China's close. But here's what I do. First, I think we ought to cap carbon emissions in the United States. First of all, we got to start cleaning up our act in order to go to the rest of the world and come up with a global solution. So I would cap carbon emissions in America. I'd bring the cap down every year, 80% reduction of carbon emissions by the year 2050. And I would make below the cap, I'd make the polluters pay. Make them participate in an auction to get a permit to be able to do it. Use a big chunk of that money, which is at least $30 billion, to invest in clean, renewable sources of energy: wind, solar, cellulose-based biofuels. And we got to do that. I believe we need a moratorium on the building of more coal-fired power plants unless and until we have the ability to sequester and capture the carbon, which we should be working on, but we don't have that capacity today. I have some difference with some of my Democratic presidential candidates because I'm not in favor of building more nuclear power plants. I don't think we should build more nuclear power plants. And then, and Senator Obama and Senator Clinton have a different view about that. And then finally, and this is a really critical part, you know, all these presidential candidates come rolling through and they promise you this and they promise you that. I think we're actually going to have to be willing to sacrifice. I think if we want to make America what it's capable of being, we have to be patriotic about something other than war. We have to say, if we're going to address this, we're going to have to do this together. All of us together. And that means on this question, we're going to have to conserve in our homes, in our workplaces. We're going to have to drive more innovative, more fuel-efficient vehicles. We got to alter our behavior. That's what's required. It's going to require some real effort, some real sacrifice. I still remember, I bet some of you do too, that famous John Kennedy inauguration speech, "Ask not what your country can do for you." We need a president who calls on America to be willing to take responsibility, to take action, to be patriotic, and to do the things that make this country what it's capable of being. That's what we need, and that's exactly what I intend to do as president. One more.